It's Friday, the 13th of October, 2023. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
All right, Sean, 5 stories to get through in 5 minutes, and there's some pretty serious stories today. Story number 1, the death toll in the Middle East continues to climb with more than 1,000 dead on both sides, Israelis and Palestinians, as locally the government urges people to maintain peace and not attend rallies while the conflict is raging.
In terms of human tragedy and the war on the ground, the stories get more and more horrific. Israeli military told reporters that Hamas militants, when they invaded Israel over the weekend, threw a hand grenade into a room full of children. Meanwhile, Israel's bombardment of the Gaza Strip continues, with 2.3 million people in the region now without water or electricity. 340,000 people are homeless. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to destroy Hamas, foreshadowing a major ground attack on Gaza. In politics, Israel has formed an emergency unit government, with Netanyahu sitting in a war cabinet with centrist former defense minister and leader of an opposition party, Benny Gantz. Gantz yesterday said Israel would wipe Hamas off the face of the earth. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken was due to arrive in Israel overnight in a show of solidarity, and the United Nations Security Council will meet tonight. Meanwhile, Egypt, a power player in the region, said it won't allow Palestinians fleeing Gaza to seek refuge in that country. It means they're probably trapped.
And just quickly, Sean, governments from around the world have arranged repatriation flights.
Yes, including 2 Qantas flights today, which will head from Israel to London. More flights are likely. Locally, a Sydney man has been charged over an alleged anti-Semitic incident, and police have bolstered security at Sydney and Melbourne synagogues and schools. Pro-Palestinian rallies are planned over the weekend in both cities, and yesterday the boss of ASIO came out and said the agency's on alert for religiously motivated or ideologically motivated extremists who could take advantage of what's happening in the Middle East.
Okay, on to story number 2 now. And tomorrow, Sean, is referendum day. Everyone is, of course, obliged to attend a polling booth and vote on whether First Nations people should have a voice to Parliament.
There were impassioned pleas from Labor leaders around the country yesterday urging people to vote yes. The face of the no vote, Jacinta Price, was equally vocal as she cast her vote in Alice Springs. Yesterday, the Australian Electoral Commission urged voters not to wear any clothing that could be construed as campaign material as they go to vote. Now, the rules surrounding what people can or cannot wear into a poll at a referendum are the same as for elections. That means campaigning is not allowed inside the polling place or within 6 metres of the entrance. The AEC has a temporary workforce of approximately 100,000 people doing their best to facilitate a positive voting experience for Australians. And the AEC added, please be kind.
Oh, they shouldn't have to, but it is very good advice. Now, story number 3, Sean, it's the spring racing season with the country's richest race, the $20 million Everest, running tomorrow at Randwick. It should be the sweet period, really, for bookies, but it isn't.
No, Tabcorp yesterday warned investors about soft trading conditions, saying revenue fell across its divisions in the first 3 months of this financial year. That triggered a 10% fall in the wagering company's share price, though later in the day it recovered to close down 6%. There was weakness in wagering and media, digital wagering and gaming services. It's unusual for Tabcorp to provide quarterly numbers, but the group said it wants to keep the market informed. Really interesting company, this one. It split out its high-performing lottery business last year. Now it's negotiating with Victorian Racing Club about securing broadcast rights to the Melbourne Cup, which it would then sub-license to free-to-wear groups, 7 or 9 or 10. It's also intended to retain its wagering licence in Victoria. Plenty going on.
Story number 4, Sean, big one here. Internet companies Google, Amazon and Cloudflare say they have weathered the internet's largest known denial of service attack.
Alphabet-owned Google said that its cloud services had parried an avalanche of rogue traffic more than 7 times the size of the previous record-breaking attack last year. Cloudflare, which is an internet protection company, said the attack was 3 times larger than any previous attack they've observed. Amazon Web Services division also said it was hit by a new type of distributed denial of service event. Denial of service is among the web's most basic forms of attack, and it works by simply overwhelming targeted servers with a fire hose of bogus requests for data, making it impossible for legitimate web traffic to get through. Google said in a blog post that only 2 minutes of one such attack generated more requests than the total number of article views reported by Wikipedia during the entire month of September.
That is extraordinary. All right, last story, number 5 here, Sean. Birkenstock's leather sandals have helped the German family behind the brand build one of the biggest footwear fortunes on the planet. This is a great story.
Yeah, Birkenstock Holdings debuted this week on Wall Street, and brothers Alex and Christian Birkenstock are now worth about $3.4 billion US, 5 billion Aussie, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, even after the shares slumped close to 13% in their first 24 hours of trading. The Birkenstock dynasty started nearly 250 years ago. Johannes and Johann Adam were shoemakers in a small village about 40 kilometres northeast of Frankfurt. Johann's descendants continued the family tradition, transforming their footwear into its recognisable modern-day form when Karl Birkenstock introduced the first model of the company's sandal back in 1963. Now, Alex and Christian Birkenstock have been involved since the 1980s, and now they're very rich.
They certainly are. There we go, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Friday, the 13th of October, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.